what do you think went wrong with the production of the Finally album? I mean, people thought even the name was almost like a voodoo thing to say your album's called Finally because it almost spells the end. But what was different when you guys went to record and work on that compared to the energy on another level?
I mean, we had been burned. Well, for me anyway. You know what I mean? I only during that record, during that album, I only came to the studio when they called me to do vocals. Like I wasn't there just hanging around. Hey, we need you to do some vocals. I am coming, and that's how it was with me.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the songs and the production, I don't know. I think Teddy had gotten a new. Yeah, he had rebuilt his studio. So he had rebuilt the studio and he got rid of his console and got a new one. And you know, I think that had a lot to do with it. Like you said, the title of the album might have had something to do with it, but it wasn't the same without Mark being there.
Yeah. And what about and then I guess there were changes in the engineering and production team as well.
Yeah,
Producers.
Was Serving there for that album?
I,
Nope, I don't think so. Nope. Junior was there, but I don't think Serving or John was
oh,
there.
John Marie, yeah. Yeah, so it sounded and I think the first single, the
Oh
boyfriend
my
girlfriend, is
God.
probably the worst song on the album. What was the feeling? Because I know it's Janet, but you could have brought on another track. I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but that song wasn't the song even before Janet got on it. It was like yeah, that whole album was
Yeah, I mean, it was that was I didn't like the song. It just didn't make sense, that particular track, and you had even Jahiem, sorry, Jahiem, yeah, J Rue on it, and it didn't have no cohesiveness. I told Mucho when I interviewed him that he should have. Your Love was probably, with Sauce Money, was probably the closest to No Digging. Probably would have been a better lead single. If you were to pick anything from the album, I would have put Your Love, um, the one with Sauce
Sauce
Money.
Money. I forgot about Sauce.
I thought that track was probably one of the better later singles. The remix with Janet, Get So
Yeah.
Lonely. You did the stuff with Jay-Z. You did the stuff with Foxy Brown. So you were still um, putting in work, single, still
Yeah,
being
that was on
relevant.
that first album. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were still, because yeah, so you were still dropping singles until you started working on the Finally album. What going into that album, Mark leaves, and people ask, okay, how did Terrell shows up and disappears? What was uh, what was the situation? Because we never got to hear what happened to Mark and
Okay.
how Terrell shows up.
I'll tell you. So that was a we went on a New Edition tour,
Yeah,
right? And you said you were there,
yeah,
right?
I was yeah, my favorite tour.
Okay. So we weren't the headliners on that tour,
Yeah,
New
it was
Edition.
New Edition. Yeah,
But we spent as much money in our production as New Edition did.
yeah, it was a big set. Yeah,
Right. And it shouldn't have been. So when we got off tour, we had no money. We didn't I made maybe $5,000, $10,000 on that tour.
oh, are you kidding me? Every
Yep.
night, every city.
Every night, every city, that money was supposed to be sent into an account for us when we got off tour. When we got off tour, Teddy Riley told us that there was no money. He told us that management has stolen the money and there was no money. But wait, luckily, the budget for the new album just opened up, right? So that's his way of pacifying us. Now, after the success of the first album, we were told that we would each get $500,000 as an advance. when they released the budget. So okay, again, we get off tour. There's no money. When he releases the budget for the next album, there's $100,000 instead of $500,000 for each of us. And Mark said, "Where's my money? Like this is not what we agreed to. This is not what we were told." And that's pretty much why Mark left the group or was put out the group. I don't know exactly how it went, but Mark stood up and demanded his money, and now he's out of the group.
Was this advance coming from Interscope?
Say it again?
Was it Interscope that says this is what we're going to give you, each of you guys, the $500,000? Was that Interscope?
This was Teddy. This was Teddy's accountant.
Saying that. Okay.
Teddy's personal accountant who told us how much money that we should each be receiving on the next album.
Okay.
And so the budget comes up, and we $400,000 short.
Okay.
So Mark couldn't. He wouldn't stand for it. He wouldn't do it. Me, I was in a situation where, I'm like, I was dependent on that money from the tour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now it's not there. So, okay, I'll take this. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it was Teddy's he's something else, man. And I know that's not the first time you heard it, and it won't be the last time you heard it. Everybody's not gonna lie on the man. You know what I mean? Just look at it. You look at Guy. You look at Today. You look at Bernard Bell. You look at Blackstreet. Like, why is all this revolving? Like, how many members have there been in Blackstreet? Joseph Stone Street, Levi, Chauncey, Dave, me, Mark, Terrell. That's 7 people. Why? It's one common denominator.
Yeah.
And that's theater.
Yeah. When we spoke about because I've had various interviews, and a lot of the common denominators from that is what they reflected back on is that this person had gone through stuff, and it's almost as if you said that you aren't like that. You would you can't say if somebody stole from you, that means I'm gonna have to steal back from you in order to recoup, and then once I think I'm satisfied that I can come back. But it's and I do wonder if people do this deliberately, or if they know what they're doing, or as I said,
yeah, they know what they're doing.
But so you decided, okay, and you also had stuff coming in through your publishing and other stuff, and so you said, okay, you know what, I'll and you were almost given a heads up that look, things can go south a little bit, so be on guard. So did it surprise you, or was it more?
I mean, well, it did surprise me because stuff like this has happened so many times before, but it did surprise me. Like, why would you do this? Like, like I drive up to the studio one day and there's nobody there. It's just Teddy and Chauncey. And so, like, this was after we did a tour or something, and we came home. And so, you're going to take a few days for yourself or whatever. And then after that, you go to the studio and no one's there. I'm like, what's going on? So one of them was like, you didn't hit, you don't know what's going on? I was like, nah. I said, Mark's not in the group no more. And I'm saying, like, okay, what you gonna do now? You gonna bring somebody else into the group? Like, how many times do you think this is gonna work? Mm. That's what I was surprised about. Like, how many times you think you're gonna be able to get away with swapping numbers? It worked. Yeah. It worked with Dave and Levi. But that don't mean it's gonna work every time. You know what I mean? And it didn't. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the with Terrell? Where did he come from? Did you know him from anywhere, or was he just he audition?
There's a guy named a guy by the name of Kenny Quilla, who's a good friend of Teddy, who, you know, like a lot of the talent that Teddy's worked with came from him. Like
Okay.
somebody that he knows. So he knew Terrell, and Teddy put the word out. You know, I'm looking for a guy. And Terrell is. I still talk to Terrell to this day. Terrell is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wasn't even about Terrell. It was about, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, the album wasn't all that great. That's for one. But you can't keep, you just, you know, like people see this and, you know, you're like, hold on now, last week it was these two guys.
Yeah.
First it was these two, like, come on.
And I guess that there's also the fact that, you know, it's not a supermarket. You guys have developed a relationship, you know, so you sung together, you taught together, so that it's not just that there's a connection that's been built.
Yeah, we were connected. We were connected. But, you know, like I don't blame Mark if he left or if they, like, I'm still not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know 100%. I don't blame him. And I used to see, like, it was so strange. Like, I would see Mark, like, you know, we get our car serviced at the same time or whatever. And I wouldn't even know what to say to him. You know what I mean? Because he might be thinking I had something to do with it. You know what I mean? But since Blackstreet, me and Mark are like we brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mark and I have stayed in contact. Like, we have a business together. Like, me and Mark yeah.
But during that time though, when you see him, did you just say what's up, or did you just walk away, or?
No, I just said what's up, Mark. You know, and he'd be like, "What's up?" You know what I mean? But it wasn't.
You didn't talk about what happened.
Because I really didn't know what happened. Like, I didn't even. You know what I'm saying? I still don't even know the whole
stuff. Yeah.
The whole story. I know it was money that was promised, and then the money didn't show up. Oh, you want to give me these crumbs when I'm supposed to get this?
Yeah.
And there was a conversation, and from the conversation, I don't know if he bounced or if, you know, or if Teddy said, I don't want to deal with him because he asking about his money.
Yeah.